Welcome back to the Celtics Nation Rise podcast fan series, episode 63, presented by Celtics Talk Weekly. I'm your host, Griffin Aldrich. Alongside me, all the way to the left, right? Seamus is on the left, right? You're on the
It'll be
left.
on the right to the viewers. The
Oh, it
right
will be
for
on
the
the right.
viewers.
All right, so I'm right, right? Yeah. All right. We got it. So, my co-host Seamus Zarlingo.
I'm over here. That's all they need. That's all
You're
they need to know.
you guys know Seamus. You guys all know and love him. And we have a very special guest on the podcast today. Welcome, Nick Galle. And I gotta say, this is if you guys are familiar with our podcast, you know the routine. So introduce yourself at home for everyone, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I'm Nick Galle. I'm happy to be here. Honored to be on. Thank you guys for having me. Um, I guess the best way to introduce myself, I'm a huge Celtics fan, so this is the right place to be. Um, and yeah, great to be on. I live right outside Boston, over in Somerville, so I'm close by, close to the Garden. So spend a lot of time down there. So it's great to be on with you guys. Happy to talk some Celtics. Happy to talk some fandom. So I say we get right into it.
Well, you said you're a huge Celtics fan. I mean, this
There I
proves
am.
this proves it right here. So I had to start off with the one photo, and then from there,
You
I got to
wasted
get.
no time. You just went right into it right there.
I
My
went right
God,
into it. Yeah, that
right
I
into
had
it.
to. I had to. I had to. I know.
I
Well,
understand.
the
Nipples
viewers,
out and
guys.
all. Jesus.
I tell you what, the viewers gotta stay along now because this is the type of fan that we're having on here.
It
But
is.
you know the drill, and you already said it. Where did your Celtics fandom begin?
Yeah, as a kid, I remember, going over to my buddy's house in the neighborhood. Um, I'd stay over for dinner, and Celtics games would always be on. And I think that's some of the earliest memories I have. Watching Pierce, KG, and Allen. As a 7, 8 year old. And I don't remember a lot of other things when I was that age, but I do remember watching Celtics basketball. And then I think my fandom definitely took, you know, a step in the right direction when I was in high school. IT years, Jay Crowder, Evan Turner, Avery Bradley, Amir Johnson. I could rattle off that entire team. Um, and I remember going to Celtics games with my cousin too when he was in college. You know, fond memories of watching David Lee in like the 30 games he played for the C's. Um, and then, in college, it just continued to escalate. And, here we are now. So, yeah, I think just as I've gotten older, I've grown to love them more and more and realize kind of the community that team has surrounding it for sure. And I know a lot of fan bases have, something special about them, but I don't think there's anything like the Boston Celtics fan base from the experiences I've had, from those nights at my buddy's house where I was watching Pierce, KG, and Allen to, you know, as recent as this past season. Um, so it's been special for sure. And I'm looking forward to seeing where else this team takes us.
And you talk about being a part of the Celtic fan base. What are some of your favorite memories about being a part of the Celtics fan base over the years since you've become a Celtics fan and have experienced all the history the Boston Celtics have emitted over the past decade plus since your
Uh,
fandom began?
Man, I could talk about this for hours. I'll give a top three and I'll try and be brief with each one. I think the number one memory I have had to be covering the finals for work against Dallas. That being able to see them win it all, at home was, tears were shed. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, I got teary eyed. It felt like, at least a decade of ups and downs and getting so close just to be let down again. And, really rough patches like Kyrie, Gordon Hayward years, Kyrie just kind of turning his back on the city, Gordon Hayward snapping his leg, you know, 2 minutes into that opener against Cleveland. You go through all that with this team as a fan. I'm not gonna act like I was out there on the court, but we went through a lot for a decade. So to be able to witness that, I certainly don't take that for granted whatsoever. Amazing moment. Um, my senior year of college, also super special. I went to Marquette, so I was out in Milwaukee when they played the Bucks, And that's when we came back down 3-2. Drew Holiday, who I think we have a better view of now than we did after he made that steal on Marcus in game 5 it was, to kind of end it. I was down in what they call the Deer District, which is just basically a watch party. And it was me and my college roommate who's a Bulls fan, but he hates the Bucks too, so he's like, I'll wear Celtic stuff. We were the only two people with Celtic stuff on. Got absolutely just berated. I mean, people were throwing beer cans at us after that, flipping us off. I thought it was going to get pretty ugly, but luckily, we made it out of there safe. Got tickets for Game 6. Watched Tatum hang 46 in Milwaukee. I was talking so much shit. I mean, I probably had a few too many beers that night. Just got to talk so much shit, and then we go, oh, yep, there it is. I mean, did that afterwards. Waited until we won the series to do that. Did not wait until we won the series to do that. That was mid-series. Hung those up all over Milwaukee. Those kind of got taken down quickly. But yeah, talking so much shit. We go back, win Game 7. My God, I was running my mouth at graduation. I wore a Paul Pierce jersey under my graduation gown. Dwayne Wade was actually our commencement speaker. And then when I was up on stage, zipped down the gown, opened it up, had the Paul Pierce jersey. So that was great. And then third favorite memory, I think, would be Game 7 against Philly. 3-4 years ago, when Tatum had the 50-piece. Went to that game with my cousin. So that was a special memory to be able to witness that with family. So I'd say those are probably my top 3. And there's so many more. I mean, I can't even count how many special moments I've had, but those would be the top 3 for sure that kind of stick out to me. Definitely.
I got to say, I was at the Deer District just a couple days before that. Before you were there. I was there just a couple days before that. I was at Game 3. Was that Game 3? And I got to say, the Milwaukee fan base, that game, they won.
Yeah.
So they weren't as harsh to me. All right. I got to say, they
Yeah.
weren't as harsh to me. I mean, I got to say, you mentioned the Chicago Bulls. They were the harsh ones, I got to say.
Yes.
I was in Chicago in 2017. That was where it was, we got some F-bombs over here. We got some little kids flipping me off. The little kids flipping me off. That was the big one. That was
you
like,
got to
whoa.
respect that. I mean, parents teaching their kids well, the fandom is running deep. So I can respect that. If a kid's flipping me off, kudos to the parents, kudos to the family. But yeah, no, Deer District, fun place to watch a game as an opposing fan. But yeah, I might have been down. We might have crossed paths. We might have crossed paths down there because, we were watching like every game, either at the Deer District or we were in the arena, which was sweet. So that was a fun series for sure. And even better that we won it. Thank God.
Yeah, of course. I mean, there were so many moments during that series where it could have turned one way or the other. And I still look at, some of the revisionist history, going back and looking at that. It's like, man, they were really close to being eliminated in the second round, and who knows what the story is if that's the case with that team. However, of course, all of us as a part of the Celtics fan base, we recognize how special the community is. But from being in the Celtics fan base, from your perspective, Nick, what are some of the more special components of being a part of the Celtics community compared to what we see out there, the rest of the communities in America, where we see other fan bases, they don't exactly pop out, right? The New Orleans Pelicans, they become a point of conversation. Could they relocate? Other fans don't show up to the games, but what are the special components of being a Celtics fan?
I think it's just that, you see the same people every single game. I know every fan base has the recurring fan. You see Drake courtside at Toronto Raptors games. That's one of the top fans I can think of. But every team kind of has their famous fans that you see. But like you go to Celtics games, man, you know who is going to be outside the arena on a nightly basis. Exactly. I've seen him on the tee. We talk on the tee every now and then. Aztec Gino, I've seen him around. You know who you're going to get at Celtics games. I think that's why it feels like family. Like with your family, you know who you're going to get at the barbecue on 4th of July. It's going to be the weird uncle. You might not like to see him, but he's going to be there. Okay. And there's some crazy Celtics fans out there. We know that. But you know who you're going to get. You go back, on a Wednesday night, on a Saturday, it's going to be that same group of super fans outside. And they always welcome you in. Once you start showing up more and more, they realize you care about this team just as much as they do. And then it becomes a really, really tight-knit group. And I think that's a special thing about it is, I mean, it is a family. You're seeing these people on a weekly basis when we're in season.
Well, I want to add on to that. And you obviously being a known face out in Celtics community, going to the watch parties, being an active member and going to the games, obviously. Tell me, what's it like and the energy and vibes at the watch party or not even oppose alongside going in the garden? How does it feel to go in the garden and just we asked this question to Marty the Meat Man on how it was to, just the vibes in there. How is it for you when you step foot into the garden?
Oh, man. Every single time feels like the first time. I think the very first game I went to, I sat up in the nosebleeds. I was probably 2 sections away, from guy with the green hair, Russell, I believe is his name. And everyone just knows him as guy with the green hair. You say Russell, no one's going to know that. It's guy with the green hair. So, I remember seeing that, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what did I get myself? I think I was, no older than 10, probably like 8 years old. I was like, what is going on? Like, what did I get myself into? And I didn't understand what I was watching at the time. But then, as I said, you grow up and you realize the team, you realize the history, you realize what the Celtics mean to this city, and it all starts to make sense. So yeah, walking into the garden is it is my favorite place on earth. And it's easy for me. It is my favorite place on earth, and it will never get old going to a game. I don't care where I'm sitting. I could be up against the back of the wall in the nosebleeds, or I could be first row. It wouldn't matter to me. No matter where you sit, that place is special. No matter who is surrounding you, they are special people as long as they're wearing green and white. It's just a great atmosphere, and every single game, game 1, game 36, game 5 of the finals, it doesn't matter. The energy in there is second to none across the league, in my opinion. I haven't been in a ton of arenas, but I've been in Milwaukee, I've been in New Orleans, and I've been in Boston. And out of those 3, I can tell you Boston blows them out of the water. And I would guess that they blow every other arena out of the water. It's a special place. It is a special place.
And of course, the Celtics won the title at the Garden in 2024. What is your memory of the Celtics winning the title, and where were you throughout the journey of the Celtics making their title run in 2024?
It was honestly them actually winning it all kind of a blur, because I was like, my goodness, like, it's actually happened. You see the confetti go up. It's just this ocean of green and white. And it was great. I was way up in the rafters, like above the nosebleed seats in the media section. Media overflow. Immediately took the elevator downstairs to get into post-game press conferences, which was just awesome to see everyone so excited, and was on the court after. Picked up some confetti, took some home. So that was just an outstanding night. Throughout that playoff run for the finals, I covered games 1 and 2 ahead of covering game 5. That picture was after game 5. And didn't cover any of the Eastern Conference Finals games. So I was home for that, or out of the bars, going to watch parties, watching with friends and family. And just seeing how dominant they were for that run, you never wanted to get too comfortable. You never wanted to be like, oh my God, it's actually going to happen, because we had seen what they had done in the past. We knew we could blow it. We knew that. We already proven that. So I knew every step of the way they could blow this. But like JB shot over Siakam, incredible. That was a moment that always stood out to me, where it's like, okay, you know what? Maybe destiny is actually on our side this year. And sure enough, it was. And just seeing them kind of go every step of the way was super special. And seeing it all come together at the end, a memory I'll always remember for the rest of my life.
Well, a question I want to ask too is
Mhm.
obviously we'll get into it later in the program, but you were around a lot of stars in it, and you were just so much closer to the action. How easy or hard was it for you to keep your cool when you were around the team that you're in love with and you're, a huge Celtics fan? How easy was it to keep that cool when you're freaking out yourself and you're like, wow, we just won the championship? Like, blacking out yourself,
Yeah.
not knowing what to do. How easy was that?
It was terrifying, to be honest with you. And I will say all of my reporting was completely neutral. I think I did do when I was in that job, I did a very good job of separating the fan from the game story. And we had editors that went over it and they thought it was good too. So we're good there. But that's why I'm kind of happy I'm out of that job, so I can just go full fan now. It was a great job. I'm so thankful I got to do that stuff. And yeah, like being around those guys, at first it was like, oh my God, I think I asked Tatum a question, JB a question, Drew, Derek, Mazzulla. So I did, I hit on all the big names. And the first few questions, like, man, I was nervous. Like it was hard to get those words out without sounding like a fool. When I asked Tatum a question, my buddy texted me afterwards and was like, you were just on SportsCenter. And I was like, great. Like I knew I was nervous. I tripped over my words a little bit. I'm like, fantastic. I'm glad millions of people just, saw that. And I know no one was like, what an idiot, but like still I knew I sounded kind of goofy a little bit. But at the end of the day, I was just like, you know what? My first time doing this, it is what it is. I did good enough. It wasn't a meme. So that was fine with me. But I will say, like, after you ask a couple questions, you do kind of realize, like, these are just 28, 30-year-old guys, that are really good at basketball. And, you kind of see them joking around in the locker room and, like, coming out of the locker room. And they all have inside jokes with each other that, I didn't know what they were talking about. Other media members didn't know what they were talking about. And they're just dudes. I mean, they really are just dudes. When I ran into Mark Cuban, different story. I mean, that guy honestly might be a machine. Scared the shit out of me. But other than that, I mean, they're just dudes. Like, they really are. So I think that aspect was nice of it. Yeah, these guys are still guys I admire, I still look up to. But at the same time, they're not God. They're just dudes. And obviously really good at what they do, and it brought me a lot of joy, but it also brought me a lot of pain. So, but yeah, it was a cool experience to get that side of it.
Well, I just want to add on to that too. Obviously, It's on a lot lesser level because I've just interviewed main Celtics players, but I'm fans of these guys, and it's like the first one or two, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm really doing this. But then it's like, you just kind of build it up, and you're like, all right, I'm doing this. Like they're and I talk to, obviously I work in minor league baseball. They're just guys trying to have a dream to make the MLB like I once did. So it's like same things. But I have an interesting question for you that I wanted to ask about the mustache, because
let's hear it.
I said it before too. You make my mustache now look patchy and kind of sad, and I'm kind of sad.
No, dude, wear with pride. Listen, any mustache a good mustache.
I thought I had a good mustache before, but look at your mustache. So
it's very thick.
I'll work on it now. But would you sacrifice your mustache for another Celtics championship?
I would. I have to. I have to do it. I mean, I feel like it's been a little bit of a calling card, the mustache and the hair combo. But for another title, listen, I'll do anything for another title. I won't do anything. I'll do a lot of things for another title. All right. And getting rid of the mustache would be one of them. 100%. 100%.
No, Griffin, would you get rid of your mustache as well?
I'll get rid of my mustache right now. I mean, if I have to, like, if we're talking titles, Seamus, I'm taking you guys in the bathroom and we're shaving off the mustache.
It's got to go.
Gotta go. It's no questions. And I would say though, I'm in a stage where my mustache, this might take like 2 weeks to grow back to this. Your mustache, how long did it take you to grow that mustache? I just gotta ask.
I mean, to get it in a spot where I felt good about it, I would say, a week or two. It does grow pretty quick. But to really get just the girth of it, probably a couple months. And then it is a lot of upkeep too, because, every time I drink from a water bottle, the water's sitting there.
Oh my goodness! Don't
You
even
eat
get
a
me started.
sandwich, mayo's everywhere,
I
then
know,
that doesn't look good, you got to go Chipotle mayo though, less questions and it tastes better. Chipotle mayo all the way. But yeah, it is a lot of upkeep, any food you eat, it's getting stuck in the mustache. You got to go full body shower afterwards and just wash the face.
No, guys with mustaches, I got to say this. I mean, first of all of us have mustaches in here.
Yep.
Cleanest faces in the world. All right.
Yeah.
Cleanest faces in the world, because you're
Yeah.
just constantly, even if you have a beard too, it's just constantly like, oh, I'm cleaning this thing. I'm cleaning my face, cleaning this thing all the time.
Because it's like, no, like what you said, though, if you're like, I don't know, anything, it gets stuck there and you're like, oh, geez, like, it's like, great. Now, what do I do when I'm in public and I'm eating food? It's like, oh, what do I do then?
Got to know the nearest bathroom. You gotta.
You have to. You have to.
But to rope us back around on the Celtics, a question that always fascinates me when we meet people with further access into arenas and different places where, of course, the Boston Celtics in particular, they reside. What is the process of having media access like at the TD Garden? What does the day look like from when you walk in the door there to the point where you walk out?
That's actually a great question. So I'd say for the finals, we had the media days in between. So I attended those as well. So I think that's something, I think the common fan does realize, because, you're locked into everything, interviews before and after games, obviously you're locked into, but also days off. You're also locked into those interviews. But I think I didn't even realize it as a member of the media that whole week, people are locked in on game day at a different level. And then on the days off, you're kind of still thinking about game day. That's kind of the main thing that you're focused on. For us, that entire week was just like work. It was all work. I forget when the media availability was, exact times, but I remember waking up at 8 a.m. I'm not a morning person. So I remember waking up at 8 a.m. You got to get the suit on, the tie, the khakis. You got to have, nice shoes. And then you go in. I think media availability, it varied. They'd have the shoot around too. So on the off days where there was no game and the teams were in Boston, I was probably at the Garden for, 3-4 hours, watching shoot around, getting social media clips, transcribing quotes, writing stories. So the Garden's open all day, essentially on those off days. For game days, absolute marathon. I was there probably 3 hours before the game started. You're watching guys come down the tunnel, warm up. There's pregame press conferences. I was just sitting courtside. I looked to my right, Woj is sitting next to me. Mike Breen, Doris Burke are walking by me. This is when JJ Redick worked for ESPN. He's just hanging out. And again, it goes back to same thing with the players. These are just normal people. They were either really good at basketball and got an analyst job after that, or they were really good at their broadcasting gig in college and came out of college and got their broadcasting gig with ESPN. But yeah, just seeing these people that you just watch on TV for years just sitting next to you, crazy. So that was really weird. But yeah, I was there before the game, getting guys coming down the tunnel, footage of that, which was cool because you're right there. And then game time swings around. You head up to the media section. You watch the game. Halftime comes. You can go downstairs, just kind of chill out in the back. As the game's going on, I'm writing my story. I had to have it filed within 5 minutes of the final buzzer if it was a blowout. And if it was a really close game, like went to OT or anything, have to have it within 10 minutes. Most of those games were pretty easy to write game stories for, so I had them in quick. You then head downstairs. There's only one freight elevator to the media overflow, so it took forever to get downstairs. But you eventually get downstairs, grab your seat in the press conference room. Hope you get called on. Finals are obviously really tough, considering every media outlet ever is there covering it. So a lot of those bigger outlets do get more of the questions. Totally understand why. But I was lucky enough to get a few questions for those games. Once you wrap up with that, I would send a second story with quotes added and like a more in-depth piece. You get that sent in, you post some stuff on social, and then it's pretty much head home. So all in all, it's probably like an 8-9 hour day. And then you wake up the next day and go to the next media session, and you do it again 2 days later, the game process. So long day for sure, but doesn't really feel like work, which was the nice part about it. So all of it was really cool. That's something I'm not doing right now, something I haven't ruled out. If I return to it someday, maybe. But, I got my experience. I feel fulfilled with that. So now it was on to the next venture, but definitely an awesome thing to have as a Celtics fan too, for sure.
Well, a question I want to ask you too is you kind of touched up on it already about talking with Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Drew Holiday, Tatum. If you would like to mention any of those stories, we'll talk about the players you have pictures with later and tell those stories. But if you wanted to kind of mention like what questions you asked, and even off the scene, like how were they? Did you have a conversation prior or after that? Like, how were those interactions? Were there any that stood out to you?
I think the one that stood out to me the most was I had asked Jaylen Brown. This was after game one. I'm sure you guys remember Kyrie said it didn't sound too loud in the arena. So I asked Jaylen Brown, Kyrie said it didn't sound too loud in there. Like, what were your thoughts on the crowd? And he gave the answer, that it's supermarket versus supermarket, gas station versus gas station. And the Celtics actually took that clip and turned it into a hype video that they posted on Twitter ahead of game two. And they included my question in it, which was like, oh my God, again, like that time I sounded a lot cleaner. I was very calm in asking the question. So the soundbite was good, but I was like, wow, I don't like how my voice sounds on recording. And I was just like, God damn it. But, posted everywhere. It was really cool. That was a really awesome, tidbit to have out of the whole experience. And then after the Celtics won the finals, I asked Drew, 50, 60 years from now, what do you want people to remember about this team? After they look up in the rafters and see that banner up there for the 2024 team. And he gave a great response, talking about how they did it together, as a unit. And a lot of people really liked his answer. So I think the coolest part about that, by the way, I didn't really have any, I wish I had some like cool side conversations with guys. I didn't have that many because the NBA was pretty strict on media availability and who had locker room access, who didn't. I was not one of the credentialed media that had locker room access. I think that was really limited to like maybe a few people from ESPN, the team reporters and stuff like that, which, as a journalist in a former life, that's really when you get your best sound bites. When it's not on the podium, that's when you get your best stories. Because I interned out on the Cape a few years back, Cape Cod Baseball League. And
shout out Franco. Shout out our guy Nick Franco. He's a huge advocate of the Cape Cod baseball.
Oh, it's fantastic.
He's from Barnstable, so.
Oh, that makes sense then. Okay.
I have a buddy that I actually am an intern for the Sea Dogs. He does that currently too. So I heard awesome. A lot used to do it. Sorry, I heard there's a lot of cool.
So you get it too with the Sea Dogs though. Like it's the same thing. You're around those guys daily. Like you're getting like good stories. You're gonna hear things that translate to good stories. But I would just say like being able to give people stories or give people these quotes, like kind of dive into what the players are thinking it's all about the questions you ask. Like the stories come from the questions. Like that's the big thing. I know a lot of people love to follow headlines. That wouldn't be possible without the reporters. So I give a lot of credit, to reporters and stuff. And that's really what I was like going for. Like I wanted to make my job easier. Like there's nothing worse than an athlete who gives just crappy sound bites. You can't write anything from. But like with the supermarket versus supermarket thing, I was like, thank you, Jalen. Like my job's gonna be a lot easier now. Like I'm getting paid, and my job's gonna be really easy. So, Drew, great soundbite after the game too when they won it all. So those sound bites were awesome, and I still have a ton of respect for like reporters. I know a lot of sports reporters get a lot of criticism, and a lot of it is warranted. Like a lot of them suck. But a lot of them do like bring out some really good sound bites and quotes for stories. So shout out to them. You guys do mess up a lot, but you do some things right. So got to give credit where credit's due. But that was a really cool aspect about it. Just kind of seeing their answers come to life.
And diving into more individual players, out of all the players you interviewed, who did you find to be the most charismatic with the media?
Let me think. I mean, that is another really good question. I think Derek is probably up there for sure. He was really good, especially when he got his tooth knocked out. Like he was great with that. I think Jalen is probably the most stern with the media, but he gives great answers. So I'm fine with that. If you're stern but you give great answers, like fine by me. Jason was good. I like the thing with these NBA guys, like they are so media trained. So a lot of them aren't going to go off course. But yeah, Derek was really good. Drew was really good. They were very candid. Jason, he's a star player on an incredible team. Like I will say he is the most media trained out of all of them. He's not going to slip up. And that obviously comes with time. Like I realized too, that's not an easy thing to do. Be media trained like that. It's not an easy thing to go up in front of, in this case, 100 reporters after the biggest games of your life and have zero slip ups. But I mean, just all those guys are so well spoken. Really no slip ups. Joe is like awesome for quotes, just fantastic. And yeah, it's they are like machines once they get up in front of the media. So it's cool to watch.
Well, now that we're kind of on the topic of you with players and everything, I want you to explain this one with Jason Tatum. This must have been a sick moment. And I wanted to ask, what was the question with Jason Tatum? And if you wanted to kind of explain this scene right here for everyone.
Yeah, if you want to pull that up again, I'm actually in the background, right in the middle. That's Drew Hanlon, one of his coaches, and JT. They were talking. I forget which game this was. It was either game 1 or 2. They were talking after the game, and I was able to sneak in the back there, and I saw the camera come out, and I was like, I hope I'm in this picture, and I hope it ends up somewhere. And fortunately, it did. And that was my Twitter profile picture for quite some time. I've since changed it to an AI generated photo. But, that was really cool to see them have that interaction. They were hugging it out after the game, chatting it up, talking about JT's game. So that was really cool to have. I also got caught lacking when Luka was coming in the tunnel.
I will pull that up.
You had that picture. There it is. With I totally forgot. Here I am, supposed to be non-biased, and I have my Celtics phone case while recording Luka Doncic. So he, probably sees this 5'8" Italian with a Celtics phone case as a member of the media. I meant to take that off. I didn't, though. So there it was. I got caught lacking, and yeah, my buddy sent me that picture. He said, were you in the tunnel earlier? I said, yes, I was. He said, you forgot to take the case off. I said, oh, geez, I still have it on. So, that was my boss was like, hey, you might want to take that off. I was like, yeah, I probably should. But they won game 1, so I had to leave it on. So.
Well, I got to oust myself too. I like to be the objective source on any program, right?
Yeah.
The camera that this program right now is filming me on, the case around that camera is a Celtics case.
I
So
love it.
I'm
Keep
right.
it.
I'm right there with you. I'm
I
right
mean,
there with you.
it happens. It
I,
happens.
I would have a Celtics case, but I unfortunately am one of those people that if I drop my phone, it's gonna break. So
Yeah.
I can't have the little
We'll get you a
cheaper.
sticker, Griffin. We'll get
Yeah,
you a nice little
that's
sticker.
what I
There you
need.
go.
I need to get me a Celtics sticker for it. That you're right. You're right.
Well, yeah, we'll jazz it up a little bit, you know. At
We
least give you some Celtics representation on there.
we got it. We got it. Well, my next question is: here is you and Tillman, and I want to say this too, and I want to hear about this story with Xavier Tillman. But
Mhm.
then after that too, I want to hear your perspective on Tillman. Are you? Let me hear the interaction first, and then I'll ask this question.
First of all, super nice guy. Like Xavier Tillman is an awesome dude. I mean, I just like if he ever invited me, I was like, can you just invite me over for dinner at your place, dude? Because you are just the nicest individual. I mean, if there was anyone I would go to a bar with on the Celtics, I think it might be Xavier Tillman because just a nice dude, easy to talk to. You know, didn't like come off as like I'm Mr. NBA player, you know. Just treat you like a friend. I didn't talk to him for like super long, you know, like a couple minutes. Got the picture with him, and was a super nice dude. So that was really cool. And yeah, just like a also like huge individual. Like I know these guys, we all know they're big, and then I know you go to games and they look big on the court too. But standing next to him, I was like, "Holy shit, I'm up to this." I'm a grown man, and I am up to this guy's like midsection. You know, I can't even reach his like neck. So he's a whole head and shoulders taller than me. But yeah, super nice guy,
Well,
super nice guy.
I wanted to add on to that question too. From meeting him and your interaction with him, would you say that's kind of turned you on Tillman? That you're like, all right, I like this guy. He's a nice guy. Or
Well, yeah, I'll always root for X. I mean, there's nobody on the team that would come in and I'd be like, oh my God, like I really do like them all. I'm trying to think like the last guy that made me sick. It was probably like James Young. Like if I ever met James Young, I'd be like, dude, I'm going to be honest with you. You stink. I'm sorry. Like you're not good. And I am in no position to talk because I didn't make it out of like freshman year of high school with my basketball career. But anytime James Young checked into a game, I just, you know, get me the brown paper bag because I'm about to be sick. I just didn't want it. But there's really no one, on these past few variations of the teams that has made me really sick to my stomach when they check in. So
yeah, well, I have two more people that you sent me too. If you kind of wanted to explain this picture with Wick right here,
yeah.
Former Celtics owner now, but what's going on here in this scene?
So that was during that Celtics Bucks series that we were talking about earlier in the show here. I was going for a run that day, and there's two hotels in Milwaukee. Where I think there's just two, unless there might be another. I graduated 2022, so there could be another nice hotel in Milwaukee now. But the Journeyman and the Fister, those are the two hotels where any professional sports team will stay. And I knew that. So I went for a run that day. I didn't expect to see the Celtics out and about at all, but they were getting ready for the game. This was when they were staying at the Journeyman. So that's outside the Journeyman Kimpton Hotel or Kipton. My apologies if I'm messing up the pronunciation there. But so they were going in the team bus. Wick came out. There were a lot of kind of casual fans standing around, some diehards as well. So not a lot of people knew who Wick was. I recognized him. I was like, hey, man, can we get a picture? And he was like, sure. He took pictures with everyone, even the people that like didn't know who he was. And like for a guy who has so much money, I feel like it'd be so easy to just be like, no. I'm a college kid at that time. Like probably had $20 in my pocket and that was it. And he took pictures with everybody. So, he seems like a really good dude. I know I've heard stories of him going into the harp across the garden and buying everyone's drinks. So he's a guy that's really taken pride in like taking the time to acknowledge that this team wouldn't really be anywhere without the fans. And he grew up a Celtics fan too. I'm sure that's a huge part of it. He's from Worcester, I believe. Um, so
Shout
like,
out to Ian, who we just had on the program, also from Worcester.
who is?
Ian and Angelo. We just had
Oh,
him on the
yeah.
program.
Okay, great. Yeah, no, I've followed him on TikTok forever.
Yeah.
Met him at a few of the games. Oh yeah. I think he went to Worcester State, right? I believe.
I don't know. I don't know where he was educated or where he went, but
Yeah, I
I
think he
know he's
went.
from Worcester.
Oh yeah, he's a Worcester guy too. Yeah, so us Central Mass guys stick together, and yeah, Wick was awesome. So yeah, he got photos with everyone out there, and he did throw some jabs at the Bucks, which I will keep quiet. That'll stay between the people out there that day, and we did get the best of him. So yeah, that was a really really awesome to see him outside the hotel there. Glad we got to catch him.
I love that. And then next we have Brad Stevens here. And I will have to say, I have met Brad Stevens twice, and he is such a nice guy. And again, you said it with Wick. He's like a guy where I feel like, from my perspective, he's another guy who could, like when Joe Mazzulla comes up to the main Celtics games, he has no interactions with fans. He's like, all right, I'm here for business. That's what I'm here for. I'm out. Brad Stevens, however, is a guy who he'll get pictures with people, and he's nice. Obviously, he's on the run, so like he's gonna get whoever's right there, but then he's out. But what was this experience like with Brad Stevens?
He was actually playing tennis at the Marquette Rec Center, and I was tipped off by one of my friends that worked there. She said, listen, like, don't tell a lot of people about this, but like the Celtics are slated to play like tennis at like 5 p.m. or something. Like they rented out the, tennis court. So I threw on my KG jersey. It was the only one that was clean. That's like a youth medium, by the way. Threw that, yeah, youth medium right there. Might even be a youth small, to be honest. And it definitely added to the most awkward picture ever. I mean, look at that beautiful gap between Brad and I's arm. Just fantastic. And Brad just looks shell-shocked. Like that Brad Stevens right there, that is what my parents saw in their bedroom at 3 a.m. after I puked as a child. Like that is the silhouette they saw. Most awkward photo ever. And I did feel kind of bad because they had just finished their session and he had an Uber on the way. It was like him, Ime, who we don't need to talk about, and then a few of the assistant coaches. They had an Uber on the way, and I was like, "Hey, Brad, you mind if I get a picture?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure." He's like, "You just got to make it quick. Like my Uber's on the way." I was like, "Totally get it." So nice enough to take a picture with me. We just didn't talk much, but that was. Thank you to my friend who, Christina. She tipped us off, me and my roommate, that the Celtics were going to be there. So shout out Christina.
I gotta say that photo is perfectly awkward. Like
Isn't
that is
it?
what the expectation is. I mean, it's kind of like art. I gotta say, like
It is like
sometimes things are people
it's
don't
just
see it that way, but it really is. I mean, the you can see the how everyone kind of felt in that photo, and
yes.
just yes,
Everybody is uncomfortable. I'm trying to smile through it. Brad was also trying to smile through it, but he didn't quite nail it as much as I think he wanted to. If I ever meet him again, I will definitely bring that up. And hopefully it's in a situation where everyone's a bit more relaxed, no one's in a rush. But very thankful to Brad Stevens for even taking the time to take that picture.
Here, I'll Seamus, ask him some questions. We'll go find my two Brad Stevens pictures. We'll go.
Oh, I gotta see these.
I'll go look for them. I'll go look for them.
all right. Well, we're gonna see Griffin with Brad Stevens, but generally, looking at all of this access you've had with players and even executives. What are some stories you can tell us on here that could be exclusive to this program that maybe aren't released to the public, but you've seen behind the scenes, and maybe there's no verbal agreement in place or no agreement of, oh, I'm going to hide this story, but have you seen anything behind the scenes that the public hasn't seen with your level of media access?
I'm trying to think of I mean, Wick kind of ragging on the Bucks was awesome. He also Wick had a guitar. I'm assuming he plays guitar. This is a good one, actually. I'm assuming he plays guitar. He came out of the hotel with a guitar, and someone said something along the lines of, start playing We Are the Champions, on guitar. And I think it was an acoustic guitar. And that song would sound like shit on an acoustic guitar, I think. But no one was thinking about that. But he said something along the lines of like, oh, hopefully I'll be playing in a couple weeks, which like got everyone really like pumped up. Of course, we lost to Golden State that year in the finals, which stunk. But that was something that was really funny that I remember Wick saying, this isn't an executive or a player. But I actually had a run-in with Sam Hauser's dad after a regular season game. And Sam went to Marquette my freshman year. He transferred shortly after. I think he was just there my freshman year. So, yeah, he transferred ahead of my sophomore season with his brother Joey. They were both there. But Sam's been one of my favorite players ever since he joined the Celtics. I went to school with him, was always like rooting for him at Marquette. Me and my buddy were actually sitting like not courtside, but we were tucked into like one of the tunnels. We just wanted to splurge on a game one night against the Magic. I don't know how much I drank that night, but it was a serviceable amount. I felt it both physically and my wallet also felt it. And my dad texted me and he was like, Sam Hauser's dad is, sitting like across from you guys, other side of the court. They keep panning to him on the broadcast. He's like, you should go talk to him and like tell him you went to Marquette. So I'm like, I'll see if I can. After the game, like my dad sent me a picture of the broadcast, so I like knew what he looked like. After the game, we walk back, and when you sit on that floor level, you kind of have access to like I think it's the Putnam Club, and you can like kind of walk back there. You don't have access to the club, but like where like the entrance. So we walked back there, and like we got a picture with Matt Judon, me and my buddy did, and then I saw Hauser's dad. So usually, like I am not really a social person. No, I guess I am at Celtics games. I am at Celtics games, but day-to-day life, I am not a very social person. My girlfriend can attest to that. But had the liquid courage, so I'm like, I gotta go up to Sam Hauser's dad. So I go up to Sam Hauser's dad. I'm like, hey, like you're Sam Hauser's dad, right? He's like, I am. I was like, I just want to introduce myself. Like I went to Marquette with Sam and Joe. He's like, no shit. I'm like, yeah, no, I promise. Like whipped out my student ID. I still had it. I'm like, look, I swear. And then we just started talking. And he kind of gave me like a little bit of like insider info as to why Sam and Joey like transferred. And like there was a player on the Marquette team, Marcus Howard. And he was a shot chucker. Like there's just no way around it. He was a shot chucker. And I'd always kind of assumed that Sam and Joey transferred because like Marcus Howard was just shot chucking. And I was like, I'm going to tell you, I don't like Marcus Howard, dude. Like Sam and Joey, way more talented. Marcus Howard had like a sip of water in the NBA, and now he's like playing overseas. So that's why I was always rooting for Sam to have a more successful career than Marcus Howard, noted shot chucker. And if Marcus Howard ever sees this and wants to respond to me, feel free, hit me up on Instagram. I don't care. You're a shot chucker. But I was like, I want to just make it clear to you, like, I hate Marcus Howard. I just want to get that out on the table. And, Sam Hauser's dad just kind of cracked a smile. And I think he just, he didn't really say anything about why they like transfer, but it was like, he was happy that I did, I think, so that was really cool. Just to like finally get that validation that like I was rooting for the right guys at Marquette. And that was awesome. So I don't think there's any bad blood between the two. Like I made sure to check. They all still follow each other on Instagram, and that's like the telltale sign, yeah, I'm just glad Sam is in a place where he can succeed now and not be around shot chuckers.
Well, I have to say, I found the pictures, and
Let's go.
Before I put them up, I won't lie, I'm now questioning my pictures with Brad Stevens because you talked about the awkwardness, and I'm looking at these pictures and they're pretty awkward. Well,
that's good. This is good.
I'm gonna say before I pull up the first one, I was pretty young, and I was one of those kids who had braces.
Hold on, stop. You're justifying too much. I want no justification. I want photo. Let's go.
All right, he does not look happy in this one.
That's awkward for sure.
But
that's great.
There's me and my brother with Brad Stevens. That's totally awkward. I mean, I think he's a little mad because the OKC Thunder G League team just won. But I could be wrong on this, but you could tell he's visibly not happy about the picture. But he seemed nice in person. But here's the next one. This was on my birthday. This is a little less awkward, but
that one's good.
But still, it's like, look at the arm length away. It's like you brought, some talk about like how your picture, hold on, let me bring that one back up. It's like these two are kind of similar though. It's
yeah,
like,
I didn't know what to do with my hands,
I had a Sharpie out there because I'm like, hold on, I think I could even show you guys if you guys want to go on a little room tour with me.
Here.
I actually, I was like, this is Brad Stevens, and I had him sign my main Celtics poster as you
that's
see.
awesome.
Where is it? Right here.
I don't even know which signature.
Is it the one?
It's
the top one or the bottom one?
Right there. If you guys...
Okay.
All right. Okay. He got a nice signature.
In gold.
Yeah. So the other ones are fake signatures. They're like, what's it called? As I'm bringing my camera around my whole room. Oh, we got JT right there too. But as I bring it back, but no, he what's it called? The other ones are like printed on there, but I was like, Brad Stevens, this is pretty sick. I gotta have him signed it. It was my birthday, and a little less awkward. I'll pull it back up, but still, I feel like Brad Stevens must just be an awkward picture taker. Maybe it's not us.
It might be. Maybe it's not us. Maybe it's Brad.
It's not us. I love Brad.
Yeah,
maybe he's just a little. I mean,
somebody has to ask him to just do the arm around, like like the arm around each other, like.
Well, may I say too, and I'm gonna bring up another thing, and then maybe we come to the conclusion that he is an awkward picture taker. Because remember, when Drew Holiday, signed with the got traded to the Boston Celtics, Brad Stevens smiling at him like this. I mean, maybe he's just an awkward picture taker.
I think it is Brad. Great GM, but
great GM, and much love to Brad, but. Let's take a few photo classes.
we can all improve on something, even Brad Stevens.
We can.
I gotta say the awkward photos, the thumbs up helps, kind of fills the space.
Yeah, we'll give it a little thumbs up.
I'm gonna write that down.
Or a peace sign or something like that. Something.
Peace sign always helps.
Yeah, peace sign's good. Maybe I would say the thumbs up is a little more. I feel like it's a little more. It works with executives, right? Where the peace sign was like, oh,
thumbs up's universal. Thumbs up universal,
Yeah. Well, but we'll tie this back into obviously Celtics as for your Celtics fandom. So I want to ask this question for you too: is tell me who is your current favorite Celtics player and who is your favorite Celtics player of all time? You rolled your eyes because you knew you were getting this one, but
I did. I mean, dude, it really is so hard to decide. Celtics favorite currently, it's got to be JT. It has to be JT. I feel like it's a basic answer? Yes, but like
back up.
I mean, that is my glorious king right there. It's got to be JT. I'm sorry. I will say I'm a big sports card collector. That's what I do now. Like, that's what I do now for work. And I'm very high on Baylor Shireman this year. I am very high on Baylor Shireman. I've been stacking up a lot of Baylor Shireman. I think he could really carve out a nice role on this team this season. So I'm a heavy buyer on Baylor Shireman. You seem like you're with me here.
I like Baylor. Look, we have Baylor Shireman back there.
I do see that. I like that.
I am. Seamus doesn't like it at times, but I am a huge Baylor Shireman fan. You and I are in the same. You and I could be.
Seamus, you watch, man. You watch.
Whoa! I feel like I'm being unfairly painted on the opposite side of Baylor Shireman.
Well, I'm just saying, Seamus.
Look, there's some belief in Baylor Shireman for me. I'm just saying the summer league, the latest returns from Shireman were not
very bad.
Very bad.
They're
yes,
not amazing.
But
that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
When it matters most, Shireman's going to be popping off. And you and I could be very good friends because we're in the same.
Good.
I agree. When we first drafted Shireman, I was big on him, but I'm not like, all right, this guy could be one of my favorite players. I've talked to Baylor Shireman. I've interviewed Baylor Shireman. I've seen Baylor Shireman all the time in Maine, and I have turned the corner on Shireman. I'm like, all right, he could creep up there. If I did like my favorite Celtics players right now, I think he'd be up there. I'm not gonna lie.
I need him to be good because I have about $500 to $750 invested in this man already. I'm going to keep going. The Shireman grind won't stop. Okay, so I'm going to keep going. Favorite Celtic of all time, without a doubt, is Jay Crowder. I think. I thought it was going to take me a little while to think about, but I went to Marquette because of that man. He went there. I went toward Marquette purely because Jay Crowder went there. So it was kind of like a joke. And then I ended up liking the campus enough. So Jay Crowder, loved the heart he played with when he was in Boston. Just an absolute dog, warrior, fighter. And that's true Celtics basketball right there. I mean, the man collected Tommy points like it was nothing. So Jay Crowder, favorite Celtic all time.
And we have to, of course, ask you about this poster outside of the TD Garden.
Oh, yeah.
This was before Game 5, correct? Before Game 5 against the Knicks? Is this accurate information?
Before Game 5, yes. We were down 3-1.
Right, and only on the brink of death can you feel the most alive. I mean, I got to say, these are some pretty kick-ass photos here. And you actually made an appearance on our post-game show, as I actually have a little clip for that. So here's this little clip. Here we go. This next photo here, this is outside of the TD Garden. Only on the brink of death can you feel the most alive.
Wow.
And that is certainly a phrase and something that can be brought out right now with this Celtics team.
I appreciate the shout out, guys. Thank you for the shout out.
That was on Game 5. That was on the Game 5 post game, right after the game. So we very much recognize that sign outside of the arena.
Oh, baby.
The night you made that. But what was the inspiration behind that sign?
After dropping Game 4, I mean, everybody was so down. I know you guys probably felt it too. Like, the optimism was just way down here, And I have always been a true believer that I am going to believe in this team until I can't believe in them anymore. That's always been the way I've went about it. That picture you showed at the beginning of the show with the 7 carved in my chest, that's when we were down 3-0 to Miami. There's the one, nipples out again. By the way, I did that 7 in the shower, like upside down, essentially. I feel like it turned out fantastic. I mean,
it really did. It did.
That's a strong 7 right there,
Oh, you can definitively see it on your chest. I mean, it looks like marker or paint next to it. It's so definitive.
I was very happy with how that 7 turned out. So yeah, after we lost, the Knicks went down 3-1. I was just like, I'm not gonna sit here and be, oh, the season's over. We're done. I want more Celtics basketball in my life, even if it's just one more game. Just give us one more game. I was walking home from the tee after that game, and I was like, I got to come up with a sign. I have to. And I went through a lot of quotes in my head of what I could come up with, what sounded good, what sounded corny. And I just, I finally settled on that quote, and I just felt like it was the perfect message because it is true. And it fit perfectly for the situation that we found ourselves in. And, my goal was just, all right, stand outside the Garden before Game 5. Yeah, before Game 5. Stand outside the Garden before Game 5. And if I can just inspire one person to cheer a little bit louder in that arena tonight, then the sign is a success. So I stood out there. I think, there was a ton of people that took pictures, which was really inspiring. I'm like, all right, maybe we're getting some people to believe. Because I know there were people going in that arena that night that thought the season was over. They were seeing the Celtics final game. So I was telling people, it's not about the man. It's about the message. Just believe in the message. And yeah, came up with that. People seemed to rally around it. It got really, good feedback on social media, which was nice to see. Noah picked up on it, who's one of the best Celtics reporters out there, maybe the best in my opinion. It was funny. I saw her at the finals when I was covering it, and then, she snaps that picture. I knew she had no idea it was the same person. Zero clue. And I was just like, look at what I've turned into. You saw me in the suit last year, and now I'm out here with a massive mustache in my hair, looking like I haven't cut it in 4 years. Just like going crazy, giving Caveman a run for his money. He still got me beat though. But yeah, so I had to sign. People were loving it. They really rallied around it. That was the goal. Just believe in this team for one more night. And it would have been awesome if they won the series, but just to have that night, and kind of have that sign and have, as I said, if one person said, all right, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to believe in this team for tonight. That's all I was going for. And it seemed to happen. The people loved it. People rallied around it. And yeah, after the game was when that second picture was taken, me standing up. Yeah, that one right there. Shout out Jack, one of my coworkers. He snapped that shot. And shout out TD Garden Security for politely asking me to get off that pole afterwards. I would have fallen if I had stood up there for any longer. But yeah, that was one of those nights that just makes you happy to be a Celtics fan. Like people were just coming together as one, and it maybe the sign gave them a little extra push to do so, but it was always there. Like people believe in this team no matter what the circumstances are. True Celtics fans do. And that was a really special night. We lost that series, but that night's always going to stick with me. That's definitely one of my favorite memories of being a fan.
Yeah, and I would completely agree with you on that. And people kind of underrate those type of memories over time, because although the Celtics didn't win the series, and I gotta say, I'm guilty of this too. I do this as well. It's like, oh, we didn't win a championship. It's like, bad memory, right? Bad. But ultimately, Game 5, down 3-1. Jason Tatum tears his Achilles the game before. Yeah. Luke Cornett comes out, puts up 7 blocks. Jaylen Brown comes out and passes to, I believe, 12 assists that night. And that was just one more night the Celtics stayed alive in the NBA playoffs. And one more night everybody could party over a Celtics win. And one more night the Celtics created great memories before, of course, becoming dormant for the next 4 or 5 months as we're in that period right now. So that game right there, Game 5, very symbolic of a moment that people underrate a little bit. Even though we didn't win that series and we didn't win the championship in 2025, that's one of the better memories all year long, even though it came under sour circumstances.
No doubt. I think you worded that great. Yeah, for sure.
And I have to say, shout out to Andrew and Jack. Shout out to Jack for that other picture, and shout out to Andrew for that one. But you talked about being in a suit, and then just a couple more questions, and we'll close it out. But you sent me this one, and this one caught my eye. We got the Celtics socks down there. Sorry about the ticker down there, Seamus. If you don't mind just closing it just for a second. You see the Celtics socks down there, and you talked about being in a suit, and now you're in some Celtics socks. As there we go. You got the Celtics socks. So see them down. He's lifting up the sleeve, and I have to admit, Seamus, you could put the ticker back in there if you don't mind. I have to admit, I have to say this for my own perspective. You talked about graduation having the Paul Pierce jersey. My graduation, I had a Tatum jersey underneath. So
there we go.
You always got to be repping Celtics, but I want you to explain this for everyone at home.
That was one of my cousin's weddings last year. Was it last year? Yes, it was last year. Down in Georgia. Some mountain range down there. I forget what it was. Very nice area. Very scenic. Great wedding venue. But I will be damned if there's no green down there at that wedding venue. And there wasn't enough green. I had my Pierce jersey down there with me. I was a groomsman in the wedding. He wouldn't let me wear the Pierce jersey under the suit. I get it. But I need to have some type of Celtics representation, just like you said. So we threw the socks on, took that picture beforehand, with a little Sam Summer in the other hand, and gave a night. I mean, throw me in a Sam Adams ad. I am waiting for the sponsorship. That ad would have done numbers. Maybe me and Derek White can do a collab with Sam Adams. I don't know. But yeah, I think it just comes down to, it is a habit I kind of want to break out of for some situations. But like every big moment in my life, I just try and find a way to tie it to the Celtics. And, maybe a little bit of a curse. There's some people in my life that love that. They find it great. Others hate it, like, listen, someday I'm going to have family members on their deathbed. And my goodness, am I probably going to show up in a Celtics jersey? Yes. And their last image is going to be me in a Celtics jersey. And they'll probably tell the man upstairs that I'm an absolute goober. I don't care. I need to find the time and the place to pull out the Celtics stuff. Maybe I can get better at that, but it's like, it is a big part of me. It is a big part of my life. When I have special moments like that, my cousin's wedding, again, not a day about me, more so about my cousin. But like, I just, that's me. That's Nick Galle right there. And, I'm going to stick true to that no matter what the circumstances are. So,
well, I have to say before Seamus asks a question too, I have to say is, I'm like you. I wear Celtics jersey underneath everything. I did it
love it
underneath my prom, suit I had on. I had a Celtics jersey underneath. I had a Celtics jersey for graduation. Yep. So then I eventually decided after we won the championship, I'm just going to get a Celtics tat. So it worked. It worked. But Seamus, go ahead.
Oh, that's the evergreen that you have on yourself. It's the Celtics tat. It's like the evergreen source of the Celtics. Uh-oh. Is he frozen right now?
Oh, wait.
Are you
We're back.
You guys
You're back.
Oh, you're back. Go, Griffin. Come on. Let's see that tattoo.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, yeah. But I got to say this.
Well, too.
I got to say this. Mentioning all of the graduation and prom suits wearing the jersey, I didn't have a jersey under my graduation gown or anything like that, but I had these shoes on. I actually have them right next to me. Here we go. I have these shoes on.
Oh my God.
That is sick. That
sick. Might be better than the jersey under the
It was a little more presentable, I got to say.
Were you green? Wait, were you green? Was your school green or?
No, it was blue. Blue.
Oh, all right. There we go.
That really sticks out like a sore thumb. Just how you want it to.
That's perfect because I'm not gonna take time and put it in there because only a couple more questions, but I got me and the Tatum thing. Shout out to Coach Moorshed.
Oh yeah, that color right there, that color blue. Yeah, that's very similar. Very similar.
With the Celtics, let's go.
Wow, that's nice. That's nice right there.
And then and then we got prom.
You were like prom. I didn't even think of doing it for prom. That is a veteran play.
It was. It's like I always had to have Celtics jersey.
Like Superman.
Superman. Yeah, it's like I had
Alton Peters. Free ad.
Got to.
No, but talking more about the Celtics, we always ask people who come on our program their all-time Celtics starting five. So for you, Nick, who's within your Celtics all-time starting five?
Oh, man. Does this have to be who I think's the best or just who I'd throw out there?
So let's do both. Seamus.
No, we'll first we'll do the best, and then we'll go fan favorite. The fan favorite one gets pretty interesting because that one's people throw out Brandon Bass and all the favorites over time. But first the best and then the favorites.
Okay, all right. So with the best, I'd go. I know everyone gives excuse like, oh, those guys way back when played against plumbers. They were still very good. Okay, so I'm gonna go Havlicek, Kuzi, Bird, Russell for sure, and I'm throwing Tatum in there.
I love it. No, that's a great starting five.
Tatum's in there. He's in there for me, and it hurts putting him over Pierce, but Tatum is in there for me now. He's in my top. He's in my starting five all time.
That's a good starting five. I like that. Seamus, I don't know about you. I like that one.
That one's one of the. I hate. I know everybody has their own opinion, but there are only a few acceptable answers to the best starting five, right at every position. The Tatum conversation with Pierce, and even people would probably slot in McHale too. Maybe McHale's in that conversation. It's we're to the point where Tatum should be. I mean, Paul Pierce. The big thing with Paul Pierce is the longevity, but number two, the championship. Well, Tatum, he's putting together that longevity, but you could argue that longevity has been even better in terms of his relative league ranking, right? Was Pierce ever a top four NBA player the way Tatum is right now? I mean, we just talked about it with Ian an hour ago. Is Tatum was number four on his top 100 list.
Yep.
And furthermore, Tatum has the title as well. So I think Tatum definitely has to be up there for sure. But in terms of your favorites, who's involved in your all-time starting five when it comes to the fan favorites?
Not James Young, I'll tell you that right off the bat. Let's see. This is also okay. I gotta go IT. IT at the one. Celtics Isaiah Thomas, that year he averaged what, like 29.6, 29.4, 29 point something.
Oh, don't even get me started with the points. 28.9. And the only reason he didn't average 29 points per game, he played the first half against Milwaukee, right? Or
yes,
first half. The game 82 in 2016-17, Isaiah Thomas plays very minimal minutes in that game. They start him, but then they sit him, right? Because the Celtics playoff spot's already locked up. Scores 13 points that night, and that 29 points per game goes to 28.9. So you bring up the points. I knew it when it was happening in 2017. I'm like, this is going to be something we're going to be talking about forever. This one decimal point from game 82, and here we are in 2025.
Almost a decade later, and we'll still be talking about it in 2 years. It will be a decade.
Oh yeah.
So I will go IT at the one. Dude, I didn't think of us my all-time starting five. Who do I want to put it to? All right. Let me at my five. I think this is going to be wildly unpopular. I really do, but I'm going to do it for like meme purposes. I am going to go with Jared Sullinger.
Oh, I was thinking Jared Sullinger, maybe Daniel Tice. I was thinking which one would it be, right?
I did like Daniel Tice. Tice is a good. Yeah, I'm gonna go Sully purely because when me and my cousin first started really going to games, that's who was at center. So I'll go Sully there. Daniel Tice was like the war on Tice, hilarious. The guy had so many good nicknames that I think I don't even think they were his nicknames. I think I just called him something different every night. I think at my two, I'm going to go with ISO Joe. I think at my two, I'm going to go with him. And I think that's a crazy pick. I don't think a lot of people would have him there, but I'm going to go with him. Three, I will go Crowder. 4. Should I just get wild?
Of course.
Should I just get like, this isn't even like a favorite player of mine. Do I just throw like Troy Murphy in at 4?
Troy Murphy, Greg Stiesma. I was thinking, Kristic, Nenad Kristic.
Oh my God.
We got Vitor Favarani, maybe
Vitor. Oh my God. I should have thrown Vincent Poirier at the 5 at this rate.
I was thinking him too, and you were talking about, this is a meme player at the 5. I'm like, is it about to be Poirier here?
I should have thrown Poirier
accent.
Well, can I say something and show us the jersey really quick that you're?
Oh yeah. Let's see. We got the Kemba jersey on today.
Oh, nice.
And may I say, in my fan series starting 5, Kemba Walker's in there for me. I'm throwing it out there. I'm just saying.
I like it.
I was a big Kemba guy. I do have to say.
I wish we got prime Kemba. I really do.
I do.
Got like 30 games of it. Like 30.
We did.
Well, I have to ask this question, and we do this every once in a while, and you're the perfect guy for this question because, I mean, read the sign. I mean, you have the sign there, but a question I have is Celtics fans are down, and you brighten them up for that game, but what's something you could leave them off with to keep their spirits up? Obviously, next year, it's not going to be the season that we had the past 2 years. It's going to be a lot different. It's a big step back, but what are some words you want to say for Celtics fans at home that are down about this?
I got 3, and they're the words I've always leaned on, and that is keep the faith. I mean, it's those 3 words. You just have to keep it. You never know what this team is capable of. I mean, you go back, 2025 now? You go back 8 years ago. I know we're just talking about IT and the points. Like, no one expected those teams to be good. I mean, maybe okay, but like those teams were contenders, like genuine contenders. Even like Tatum's rookie year, no one thought that team was taking Cleveland to 7 games. Like, that's LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers. No one thought that team was taking Cleveland to 7 games. So on paper, my goodness, is this team terrifying. It's very scary. I saw a depth chart the other day. Luka Garza was starting. Like, I understand the frustration. I understand the fear. But this also opens up the possibility for us to just be like, let's go have some fun. Like, us against the world. Who cares? What do we have to lose right now? No one thinks anything about us. I think Anthony Simons can be a very good piece, especially in the Missoula ball system. I said earlier, I hate shot chuckers. Guess what? I like them in this instance, okay? Anthony Simons, just shoot at will, fire at will. I don't care. Like, we really don't have anything to lose this season. I want to see how JB can do as the guy. I really do. If he can prove himself, he'll shut up some haters, I think. This is a season where we can just go out, have some fun, prove people wrong. It's what Celtics basketball is all about. It's what Boston's all about. And that's what I love about this city. That's what I love about these people in this city. And you might as well just go give a big fuck you to the NBA. I mean, that's as simple as it is. Just go do it. And Joey Maz isn't going to let these guys back down. So, fun season incoming. Keep the faith. And just don't quit on this team now. Because if you quit on this team now, you better not be celebrating when they're lifting another Larry in a couple of years. So, just keep the faith.
That's great. Well, Nick, I have to say this was great having you on and just hearing the perspective from being a reporter and being there for, the championship and everything, and then hearing about your Celtics fandom too. And you're one of those diehard Celtics fans, but then you also had to, all right, I'm a reporter too. So hearing both sides, I see a lot of similarities with myself, so
it sucks, doesn't it? It's not fun.
It does. Now that I'm doing all this, talking to Baylor Shireman, I'm trying not to be like, hey, look, I'm one of your biggest fans. Like, look at me, but like, instead you're like, all right, well, let's do this from a professional aspect. But I have to say, thank you so much, Nick, for joining us. And everyone at home gets to hear this great story. And again, thank you so much for coming on and joining us with this podcast.
You guys are absolutely great. Appreciate you taking the time to have me on. Like, great talking with you guys. I could talk Celtics all day. So anytime you guys, you guys have someone cancel one day, you know how to reach me. Let me know. I'd be happy to come on for sure.
Can't wait. Well, with that being said, you guys, thank you so much for watching. Again, recordings are going to be a little crazy with breaking news. Obviously, we'll break the J.D. Davison one. Well, I guess by the time this is recorded, we already broke it. But with that being said, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications to be notified every time we upload. Again, thank you guys for watching, and we will see you guys with the next one. Peace, guys.